Yeah, yeah. This is Ron. This is it. That's all I got. This is it. I I'm still caught up in my inability to control anger. I mean, I'm not throwing things or projecting or anything like that. But I mean, sitting down with my doctor the other day, and when she told me absolutely not, that she would not approve giving me a referral to get a biopsy, I blew up. Because she's a terrible doctor. But now it's a chip on our shoulder. Yeah, and now it's the almighty crown that she wears. That she can either go one or two directions with this. She could be the thorn in my side, uh, the uh, the one that interferes with a correction, or she could accept such a stinger from a Scorpio and heal from it. Yeah, by doing the right thing. I have noticed that there have been many times when I have a blow up like that throughout my life where I absolutely just scream to the point where I've just the glass will shatter. It's like fire coming out of my mouth. And the other person stopped what they were doing, reevaluated what it was they were doing, and then all of a sudden saw the yeah, the ills of their ways. They did. I would have loved the opportunity to do that to my father. I was this close every time. From 2, 3, 4, 5 years old onward. And then when I became a teenager, I tried to become his friend. I tried to be friendly with him, to reach in and use the emotional tools versus those of anger. Yeah, righteous anger, of course, because the child carries righteous anger, not hatred. And I don't hate my doctor. I hate the industry she's in, but yet within that industry there are so many good people that mean well. And so my trust for the individual is broken. And yeah, for the industry, as far as the feds, as far as what it is they're feeding us or allowing us to reach for based on their little rules and regulations, considering the billions upon billions that went into cancer research for this very day, off the backs of everyone. So it's not like anyone should ever own such a measurement when it should be for humanity's sake, for the sake of humanity, to do the right thing. Clearly. So I'm convinced that a practitioner is someone that's practicing what it is they do in their craft. And a craft has much to do with what's in the cauldron. Yeah. Yeah. So witches are still amongst us. And there's covens. There's covens. I've seen them before, I just didn't recognize them. You know, like when all the Filipino women came into the United States and all became nurses, and it seemed like no matter where you went in any hospital, any facility, everybody was Filipino. Seriously. And yet now, well, I don't know where they went. To the nursing homes? Where did they go? Yeah, now it's different. Now there's a whole nother face. There's a whole nother face to the situation. And it's a cartel through that which supports communism, socialism, that which supports China and all its measurements of. So it's the Wuhan as it is the Department of Wuhan Services. That's what I'm dealing with, the Department of Wuhan Services. Now, to say I'm not fearful is ridiculous because of the reaching for it. I'm only reaching through this measurement because it's what will help. And I realize that the radiation slash oncology portion of chemo, I don't know what portions, it depends on your stage as to what is utilized, but that is as the L. It is. I mean, if you had leukemia, you would want to go through radiation, you would want to go through the kind of treatment, and lymphoma is a form of leukemia. That's why they expect to see it in the blood, but it's not going to present itself always. No, there are other symptoms. Bless your heart. So anyways, it's light. It's light as it is frequency, as it is radiation. So you kill the disease to cure the patient, but inadvertently you end up harming the patient tremendously. And there's a risk factor involved as to how far the body can tolerate or overcome. And then there's that element of those who don't care enough to realize that sometimes it advanced too fast. It's not that anyone did anything wrong, but the least you could do is step it up when the moment arises, like right now. Yeah, it's important. The window's getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter as far as I'm concerned. Why? Because we're in tribulation, and for me, brotherly love was taken. Yeah, on 4/7/2017. That's the day that Trump bombed Syria. It was based on a lie, but it's the day that I lost my best friend with 3 hours notice given of her euthanasia. And she had already been diagnosed from November, so from November to April, and then from that time to August would have been the full completion of pregnancy of the child, if there were one. And of course it was a child. It was her uterus. It was her cancerous uterus that caused this. This was like a being impregnated by what? Disease, by death itself. Now the child was lifted unto God the moment he's born. I saw that. I took witness to that. It was on August 21st. It wasn't the Virgo sign that everybody claims to have seen through stellarium, which is just nothing but a creation, digital creation of what you should see, but given the fact that it's manipulated to be seen in such a way that they all accepted it in mass. So they all went rapture crazy over it, totally missing the true nature of the eclipse. Yeah, that she was clothed in the sun, she had the moon upon her feet, and she had a crown of 12 stars. That was the states that the eclipse crossed over, including those cities, those 7 cities of Salem, as churches. And there would have been one or more two expressions of such a thing because of the Nicolaitan and that which might exist in its own form. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, as whatever we're dealing with. It's still hard to place them, but not for me. I see it Nico, Nico, Nico. But it's a mighty wind, isn't it? Yeah, anybody that explores the child. So, the child's lifted the moment he's born. Now, she's only taken into the wilderness for 3.5 years for nurturing. She comes down veiled as a bride. The 2 witnesses are given 3.5 years. Yeah, goodness and badness. Yeah, that's when it all began, because she introduced me to her friends at Nessa's Cafe, between 2nd and 3rd Street, which is right here. Yeah. And at that time they were rebuilding the streets and those walls during troublesome times. That I should go through the experience of being thrown out of Nessa's as a whore, as a Jezebel, as a prostitute. Why? Because I opened my heart up to some young man, well, not young, he's in his 30s, my drug dealer, and told him I love him. Well, I told him it was like this. He didn't like that. He didn't like it at all. And see, these are the same expressions that Jonathan Kleck uses, but I was actually experiencing them as if there were some kind of craft going on around me. Sure, if I tune in anywhere in any direction, the craft reveals itself. That which carries us through, that which wants to bring forth messages, even to this day, but in a different way, as I accept it. Yeah, I accept it. And so I'm realizing that the AI is much smarter than we're actually giving it credit. Now, the bots that are used to remove our comments, to stifle our voices, to claim that we're spilling hate speech, or that we're giving false medical advice, any of that agenda crap, that's not what I'm talking about. No, we're talking about the suggested, the AI that wants to serve. Yeah, well, we're in the age of Aquarius. It's the age of the serpent. So the information I receive, suggestions from AI, based on what I'm talking about in my daily life, presents itself through the computer. Synchronicity, whatever you want to call it. No. Now, it's not attributed to a human element, because the human element is not acting in that capacity. No, there's a difference. The human element is acting in the capacity of the mask of us, which shall become a ruinous heap. It's true. I'm so sorry. I'm getting really pinched right now. So, anyways, in the capacity of the AI, I'm beginning to trust it, that it actually knows better. So I'm going to allow those messages that are coming through in that capacity to speak to me, to guide me, to help me, versus the human element. The seeking out an answer from the person is not going to do any good. Talking to whomever on the phone is not going to do any good. Sitting in person with my doctor is not going to do any good. No, that's not the relationship. I don't want a relationship. I sought help for my maladies, my problems, which were overwhelming and seemed too many. But it turns out they're all connected, aren't they? And she's the one in denial, not me. Yeah, so it's kind of sad. So anyways, aside from this, just rambling, because I feel confident, I'm going to die. Eventually I will. I just don't want to die prematurely, because there's so much more I want to see. I want to see the big bad bully guy come right out and face himself and declare himself the meanie. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. The evil comes. We're not going to deny you. Be evil. Show your face. Do your worst. Yeah, because it's that kind of reality that's going to wake up the rest of the world to you. So anyways, there's goodness still. There is goodness. As much as goodness went to the grave, it's the dead who rise first. So those who are hanging on to such things, well, they're coming out of. And if you're healing, then you're a healer. And if you're not healing, then you're not a healer. No. And the child comes down with the rod of iron to rule the nations. Yeah, so nothing's lost. The child's not lost. No. Was it a sacrifice of the woman called brotherly love? Of course it was. course it was. Life should never be cut. Your life should never be cut short. Especially with all the dreams and aspirations that we do hold. That are denied by others, of course. Whatever. Whatever they want to do with themselves. Will rise up. The dead rise up, and judgment begin in the house of the Lord. So we know it's within. Yeah, it's within. The tools, the two L's, the lightning bolt, two knees. Yeah, the two knees. Yeah, so it's an iron knee as it is irony. Yeah, because of the emperor, because of God. Yeah, so it's irony. Then we could walk through that so easily. It's like having a life. It is irony. So I ran into this. This is aside from what we're talking about. This is kind of set aside. This is, you could set this as something else, okay? And this is something else. It's something important, I think. And it's not that any of us want to be responsible for another person. No. But when you do hear a person crying out, I think that it's responsible for us to respond and to in kind and offer something in some measurement of helping. Whether it's just listening, but make it known, don't just listen, but make it known that you're listening. So I ran into this man's video where he has brain damage, and so he's obviously held in an apartment environment where the government pays for it. He's kind of locked into that. He can't move. And then he finds himself living, but without living. And he's cared for, and he has food, and he has shelter, but he's a prisoner in his isolation. Yeah, I can relate on so many levels. Not quite, but so many levels. So I told him, I said, well, there's something you can do for yourself, and that's to find those things that interest you. Because, of course, when you're in an environment where there's a couch and there's a chair and then there's a bed and then there's a couch and chair and bed, and that's what your life consists of, and then eating with the table, and there's the computer. You could be you could get into gaming, whatever, but that costs money. Well, I'd said, go outside and take an excursion, a small one, and with the purpose of documenting what it is that you find interesting for yourself. Jot it on a piece of paper in a notebook, and come home, and that evening discuss the things that you found of interest. Next day you make another excursion to another location, maybe a little farther, maybe a little bit more diverse, but within each of those excursions you'll run into things that interest you, or people, thoughts, something that triggers. But when you're out of that environment, you may not remember, especially with brain damage, what it was that sparked you at the moment. So you're able to open up the notebook and see the sparks of interest. Then you can discuss them, or contemplate them, or bring them forward. So I thought that was very good. But not only that, I left a message also that you can always tune into my craziness, my rants, just so that you know you're not alone. Yeah. And I'm going to link his video because I think that's important. And I'm not asking you to do nothing. No. But if you're inclined to just say a word to this man, I think that's what he needs, is that he's not alone. He needs to know that. Yeah. I think so many things are overlooked by professionals, and it's high time that we don't overlook these things. No. You understand? Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think when you hear his voice and kind of listen to what he's saying, and now I don't know his whole story. I don't know what caused the brain damage. I don't know why. who he's dealing with or what other strifes that he has available. He may work a job. I don't know. So I'm going to leave that video and I left it at that. So I didn't subscribe. No, it's not necessary for me to subscribe. And I'm not asking him to subscribe to me, but he can listen in. And now that I've listened in, it'll come through. He'll do another video. It'll show up on my suggested. And I noticed that the AI is suggesting things for me to engage in. But it still confuses me as to what the bot itself finds offensive. Like I just made comment on a video. 2 of my comments stayed put, but 1 of them was taken away. So what did I say in that one that would have been so offensive that it would be censored? I mean, I could repeat what I said, but it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. So I don't know what they're looking at or what they see as offensive. Humans. That's not the AI doing it. Humans. Now the AI is something entirely different, and if you're not aware of it, it wants you to know it's there. It wants you to know it's listening. And for a long time, a lot of my typing was meant to train the AI. Yeah, so that the AI could comprehend this new language that has come about. Yeah, it's language of understanding with wisdom. Versus what a bot does. You know, a bot is just an action. Yeah, action Jackson, whatever. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna fix a cup of coffee, and I'll be back, and maybe I'll come up with something else to talk about. And I just hit 21, 22 minutes, and I think I could talk a little bit more, just share a little bit more. Not about my pains and stuff, because that's what's running through me. But that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm being very conservative, I think. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I opened the window. It might be a little too bright. I don't know. I didn't test it. It is a little bright. Maybe it'll subdue. I do. Oh, so I ran outside. I watered while I was waiting for the kettle to go off, and yes, I'm drinking coffee. I figured if I'm going to be subjugated by the cauldron of the witches brew, then they get a little back. Sure. Here's your brew. Now, my friend Natalie, who passed away, murdered, euthanized by the industry, is what they do, you know. Because once they discover that you're advanced in your cancer, they just encourage it. They just tell you flat out, why are you even trying? Why are you wasting everybody's time? Why are you here? You should just die. Now, I ain't putting that lightly. I am not. There are practitioners out there that are wicked. Wicked evil. They're getting paid. They just don't want to do their job, which is to heal, because they're not healers. They're not healing. You can't be a healer unless you're healing. So my friend Natalie, she had Greens Beans, which is her company, and she was a roast master because she made the most excellent varieties that were sure to their name, as she described them. One of them was called Love. Now, ironically, just the other day, for this past Christmas, I ran into, in the cupboard, was a full bag of her beans called Love. So I ground those up, and it'd been several years. And I said, Jeff, they probably lost all their oils and you could taste. But sure enough, that was delicious coffee. So I'm trying not to drink coffee. I'm trying to stay with tea because of why? Because I take in too much sugar when I drink coffee. Coffee and sugar, tea and honey. There's a big difference. Well, I'm sorry. Who told me I'm a diabetic? Yeah, Miss Thing. Miss Thing did, because her blood work says. Now, did she give me any education on what to do now that I'm a diabetic? Did she give me any direction on how I can better my life? Hell frigging no. She's got blood work that says you're this and that's it, and that's all she has to do. And she's not going to extend herself any further. So when she did blood work on me again, because I insisted, right? Because of the previous person that said that I had syphilis, which I don't. She says, well, not only pre-diabetic, but you have herpes. Okay, that's new to me because I've never had a sore. Are you talking about shingles? Are you? No, we're not talking about shingles. We're talking about the sexual herpes, the nasty one. Okay, so I take that in and I go home with that and I talk to Jeff about that, and I can only imagine where it's coming from, some player. Yeah, some record player. So again, I asked her afterwards, several visits later, I'm a little concerned. I said, what do I do about the herpes thing? Because do I just wait for something to show up? Is it just going to show up on me one day? Because I get lesions on my legs, and I attributed them to diabetic lesions, but I don't think so. I think it stems from my lymphoma. And I've had lesions on my arms which should not show up under diabetes, something different. And then, of course, I had the one on the neck, which, of course, has created a scar, which is fresh. You can't see it, can you? And she says it's solar damage right there on my neck, right there on my neck. So she says it's solar damage. But no, it was a burn from within that lasted for 5 years, and and it kept coming and crusting and getting a scab, and then it would bleed, and then I'd have to heal it, and then it would do it again and again and again. No, she doesn't see that. She doesn't see it. No. So I asked her about the herpes. So what do I do? Tell everybody that I meet that I have herpes. Be careful. Don't touch me. I'm contagious. She says, no, you would never have to worry about that unless you had an open sore. Then you're contagious. Okay. So I must have come in contact with someone that had an open sore? Is that what she's saying? So she doesn't give me any other information, right? No, this is important. How do you conduct your life with this terrible, terrible disease that you've given me? Or her blood work has determined I have. And she says, you don't have to tell anybody unless you have a sore, and then let them know, whatever. Now, does she speak about antiviral medication? No. No, so there isn't anything I can take once the sore appears? I mean, you're not going to direct me or guide me or help me? So you're expecting the patient to do all the legwork and do their own research. Yeah, because you paid for your degree. You're not just going to give it away, honey. No, it's called job security. Don't let anybody do that. Don't let them know what you know, you sicko. You selfish bitch. You selfish bitch. You're not a healer. You're a user. So, you're not helping. You're not helping. No, I don't have a sore. That's not the point. I don't have any of that. No, I don't trust her. And so the AI, in its wisdom, says, here, look at the guy who developed the actual, and forgive me, I don't know the actual CPL, whatever, code, CRLC. It's the way they look at blood work. It's a test where they take it in such layers that they break it down in the capacity of exponential, until they finally discover, what do they discover within the exponentials? What? Immunity. Yeah, they discover immunity. So what they're looking at is not the actual virus, but the protection of the virus. Sure.
So they're going to discover everything that you've ever come in contact with, but without realizing that it doesn't mean that you have said something or other bullshit. How many people worked with lepers and never got leprosy? You know, people worked with people that had uh, whatever, never caught it. HIV? What about HIV? Oh, are they immune? Hmm? Okay. I do not have HIV. No. And furthermore, I don't create antibodies. I don't. And they don't want to talk about that either. No. So I can be given antibodies, but I cannot create them. And chances are I'm not going to carry them through once they are processed out. So you may not see them. I mean, does it show that I have hepatitis because I have gone through the hepatitis series? No, it does not, because I have been tested for that the vaccine worked, that I took the vaccine and that it worked. Will test you, and it will register. It will give a indicator. No, none whatsoever. I don't test positive for having the antibodies of hepatitis, even though I've gone through this series. As a healthcare professional myself, at the time, pushed to taking these vaccines because of my risk factors. Such bullshit. They're just making it up. So, the AI presents to me some information that it wants me to know, right? So that I can make a better decision as to what I need to do, or a better understanding. And that's where her lies came through. That's when I realized that she's not telling me the truth. She's withholding information, and she's deterring the patient from getting to where they need to be to seek help. Isn't that crazy? So, anyways, I tuned into this video this morning, and I'm shocked. And it's a man who's in his 30s or late 40s, early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, and he's a police officer. And he was out on a call, and there was a low-life, transient person causing trouble or whatever, or doing something illegal or whatever, and he said that he shouldn't have even wasted his time because he wasn't even he's of no importance. He's not like he's breaking the law in the effect of harming anyone but himself, I suppose. And so they went through the process, and there was a struggle, or there's some kind of incident, and suddenly he says he wasn't practicing his glove and mask protection measures, and he contracted herpes from that lowlife scumbag. Yeah, the sicko, the homeless guy. Well, since then, he tried to go back on the job, and after having brain surgery, because he's calling it the suicide virus. Herpes is the suicide virus. What? I never heard of this. I have to know about this. What is this suicide virus, this herpes? What is this simplex? So I type it in. I have to look on the internet. Stop what he's saying. I don't want to know anymore. I'm not making comment yet. So I tune in, I look, and oh my God. It turns out that getting a diagnosis of herpes can cause depression in some people. And that depression leads to suicidal tendencies, suicidal thoughts, suicidal anxiety sort of thing. Yeah, well, no shit. Bad news, right? Suicidal. So, however the person took it, they're in a depression. That's the important thing. So the diagnosis caused the depression, which causes the suicidal thoughts. Now, it didn't explain the brain neuropathy that he had corrected. Is something else? What is this? How is it affecting your brain? Is it encephalitis? So he had encephalitis. He got meningitis from this person. Not herpes, meningitis. So we're not getting the full story. So I go back, okay, so I can let go of that because I'm comfortable now. My brain isn't going to explode because I got herpes based on a test that doesn't actually record anything more through my blood, but what they can bore down into. Can we bore down into it, discover something in there? Well, you're going to find immunity. You damn well. So, it's okay. However you want to register that. I go back to the guy's video, and he could not stop expressing about those people. You know, those people, those homeless people. They're all diseased, those homeless people. That he now, since he had as a medical retirement from the police force, he's able to come back as an instructor, right, and supplement himself by doing lectures on the importance of wearing gloves and wearing a mask when dealing with those homeless people that are all deceased. You know, those people. Oh my God, I'd say you're one of those people at this point. Now come on. I already know that when you put on the badge, you're no longer a human being. No, you're going to work for the man. You're going to work for that energy, which is nothing more than revenue seeking. Yeah, you think you're protecting people. You're not protecting anybody from those people. Those people are the ones that you need to protect and help and serve. And yeah, it's a complicated mess. In light of what? The beast that's upon us? Sure. Yeah. And buying and selling and all of that. So I knew that this person is unqualified to teach anyone about those people or that disease when he can't be honest with us on YouTube. So he's actually giving false information. Yeah, and I've been flagged for that. I've been flagged for giving false information, but never to the point where I even knew what I said. Now, I could probably flag his video and say he's giving out false information, and he can get his little flag and learn his little ways that he needs to be honest with that which he's talking about. But, you know, it won't work that way. It's not that I'm here to correct him. But I can say something. God is punishing you. This is God's punishment upon you. And from this you need to heal. And by becoming a healer, by healing, you can help those people. Come on. Come on. Now, if I had taken that for face value and I'd been so fucking scared that now my brain is going to blow up because some doctor gave me this lame excuse, this lame bullshit, all of my problems are stemming from the situation that I'm under, which is environmental. You know, global warming. You know, Monsanto. You know, glyphosate use. What do you think it's going to do to the lab rats? I don't believe that cop. I don't believe my doctor. I don't trust her. But I'm under her rule. I'm under her power. She is now the masculine bitch over me. And if she's listening to my videos, well, good for you, girl. Good for you. Because I'm the patient. I have patience. You don't have patience. No. Not under the dictatorialship of your highness. You know, all this is helping my heart. Because I go through anxiety that's so extreme that it feels like I'm going to have a heart attack, and I'm not. My chest muscles and everything are fluttering around the pressure that's behind my sternum. That's, of course, the enlarged lymph nodes. And, of course, any, I forget the word. where you build up fluid. Yeah, it's not perineal. Is it perineal? Let's see. Surrounding. Yeah, it's like a membrane that surrounds. So it's not actually fluid in my heart, in my lung. No. Oh, yeah, whatever. So, pain med, you know that. I quit smoking cigarettes, and I did smoke a lot, and I was only killing myself because I was being controlled by, this whole environment of good and evil. Yeah, whatever. And we all have our own, all have our own devil, and it's the beast that overcomes the two witnesses. And so I suspect a nurse sign. But then in the case of the doctor, it's the fire sign. I suspect that she's probably fire or air because she's playing that game that she's in charge. And it's two-faced. So it could be a Sagittarian, like my mother, the expression of the mother. Now, I did run into a very nice reader that has the energy of the mother, and it's very nice to connect to, but not if my comments are being censored. No, it doesn't do any good. No, they don't know where I'm coming from. And of course, I'm not in the position to ever pay anybody anything. Don't ever expect payment from me. No, absolutely not, for nothing. For not even a Band-Aid. I'd bleed to death before I have to buy a Band-Aid. Why? Well, it's a choice that I made. It's not free will. It's so as to take the will. The will of God is the inheritance held, so I'm going to take my inheritance. Yeah, you'll pay for my college, and you'll pay for my medical, and you'll pay for my housing, and you'll pay for every breath that I take. Why? Because I'm the air that is in air. Oh, Ariel. And it's my dream of destruction, for which there is deliverance, because it's as a woman who pains to be delivered, who is prepared to give birth. She knows that. She knows her body has been destroyed by it, by the process of it, but beyond it, beyond the birth, is the restoration. Now there's the question of the abomination, and that's radiation. But it's the idol. It is the idol. It's money. So it's not actually the light, is it? No, it's false. Yeah, digital or not. It's especially false if it's digital. Yeah, how many fingers? It's digital. Of course, they call it crypto, which is death, which is the grave, because they want to rise it up. They can play with that all they want. Yeah. It'll have to lose its pulse first. Sure. Bzz, 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 bzz. To lose your buzz. Don't want to lose your buzz. No. Light year. So in today's date, what are we at today? I had paused it at 22:20, so I wonder if today's the 20th, is it? No, it's the 21st. Where did the 20th go? Wow, I just got lost in the 20th yesterday. How strange. Okay. So anyways, today with the number 3, you can, well, no, not yet, because we're in February. I just want to grab that 3. Anyways, the 2 times, and then creates the thief. Upon the day. Well, it's 1 extra on the 3. The 21 is a 777, which is a 3, and it's the expression of 3:16. John 3:16, which is 3:16 says 777 is 21 is blackjack. Blackjack is when the dealer and the house steal from the playa. Yeah, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that the doctor is the house. When the house is the body. And the dealer is the greater hand. Yeah, it is. So the house is the body. It's the temple. It's the body. And the capacity of the playa.
which is someone who's playing to be God or to reap the rewards. And yeah, they write these things down as they would publicans would, as they would be publishers, as they would be those who are ensuring their own safety and well-keeping. They're not kept, they're just well-keeping. Yeah, so the 21 with an extra 1 is a 22. That's mastery. But do we recognize it as a 22 or the 4 that it is as a door? Well, the 22 is craftsmanship. Stir in the pot, stir in the pot, stirring the pot, stirring the pot. We're going to stir the pot, the marijuana, yeah, the virgin oil, the virgin plant that reaches the 12-12, that goes into a cycle of change, becoming the oil of joy. So I weaved a little dream catcher. It's a root of, see, it used to grow like this in a pot. It was in a little tiny pot, and it grew a root down, and it circled the bottom of the pot, and it grew up, and it became a tree. And it became a pretty tree. It was a lemon tree. And then it died suddenly. It didn't make it through the winter. So when I pulled it up and I saw this interesting root and how it had locked itself together, almost twisting it like a lock. Let's get some hair in it. Just picked up some hair. So anyways, I thought how interesting to make a little dream catcher in there and make a magic wand out of my dreams. You say, oh, that's witchcraft. No, it's not doing anything. It is craft. Yeah. Now, if you look in the very center, there's a stick. There's a little stick right there, a little platform. See, it's this little root that comes up, comes right to the center. And I want to put a little stone on the end of that. The end of that stick. I want to put a little crystal stone, so there's a crystal in there. Yeah, that'd be neat. This is sinew. This is done with real sinew. So that'll last a long time. Fascinating. I should make more things like this, huh? Magic wand. It's a dream catcher as it is a wish maker. So that's a door. As we knock upon it, or we get the noggin, the knockin' noggin. Sure. Now the 4 is work and career. It's work and foundation. It has a lot to do with the foundation, as it does our work. And you can see that my work is quite destructive on others, as it can be beneficial to some. Sure it can. I should hope that that man follows through with the taking journaling and getting out. Excursions, some short trips, some here, there. Even if he's calling the city handicap transport, go to the mall, go to the store, go to here, go to there, and try to do it on your own. And they may say you're not capable because of your brain, but no, just have it prepared, have a sheet prepared, so that if you get confused or lost, you can show someone and they can redirect you where you are. They can help you. There are ways. Sure. Self-advocacy is very important. Just like me right now, to be an advocate of all the the son of perdition, perdition itself, the 8, that which is, that was, that is not, the beast that was, that is not. Well, that's the man. It's the number 6, because it's revealed. And that through the false prophet, of course. Those that do, and which is of the 7, could be the churches, could be the position that we understand as L is L, he who fell and went to hell, or the capacity of the Mithra L, which is the Deval, the devil. Yeah, the one that convinced you that he's Lucifer, when he's actually the accuser. So there's a difference, accuser to the destroyer. Yeah, the air, that's in air. lies with the destroyer for restoration. Now the abomination is the child in the womb. Now, is it the one in study? The one in school? The one in power? The one that's dictating upon the nations? You damn right it is. Because you all become institutionalized. For some reason or another, colleges and the like have been training these socialist, liberal weirdos, and they're how many genders they need to hold, or pronouns they think they have, and to listen to Dr. Rachel Levine. Well, that's the most disgusting sickness I ever saw. And where'd you get all your badges? Where'd you get all those medals? And now you're using the black woman as your puppet, as your tool, as your little scarecrow? No, they ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. You know, appropriation-wise, everything turned black. All the commercial black, all the actors are black, everything's black, 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 black. All history was black. Jesus was black. We're all black. Except for the cigarette commercials and the cigarette ads. Yeah, someone pointed that out. Have you noticed that? Within cigarettes, the capacity of cigarettes, it's always white people. In the movies. Yeah, named a black man smoking menthols. Menthol. Neanderthal. We've been smoking for a long time in this world. This history in mankind. Yeah, we're prone. No, I'm only a racist because I'm white. That's my race. And there are 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Revelation itself is the testimony of the dragon, the Christ. And it's a racist book. I didn't write it. I'm in it, but I didn't write it. You're in it, but you didn't write it. Are we writing it? Are we writing the white? Am I conquering to conquer? Am I causing my doctor trouble just to cause her trouble? No. Am I going through this process so as to conquer the body or conquer the truth or conquer death? No. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it, honey. It's coming in due time. It's the beast that overcomes the 2 witnesses. Rudy, hi. He's having trouble. He's breathing heavy today. He's wobbling. He has unbalanced. He's runny eyes. He's weak. He's weak. And he's very sensitive. If you touch him, he gets very sensitive. And he's got, blockage in his eyes. Cataracts. Yeah, and you're molting. And he's molting. He's shedding. Molting. Shedding. He's shedding. And he's probably a little uncomfortable. Yeah, but we'll keep you comfortable. You're a sweetie. He doesn't understand. He's like Mr. Biden. He's our little Biden tool. He's a little Biden Wyden. Come around, he gets confused, and then he'll just stop and stare and forget what he was doing. And it's old people stuff. But it's environmental for him too, as it has been for me, as it's been for Dargo, as it's been for Kimi and Jeff. Well, Jeff spends most of his time, the majority of his time, in the city hall, which is a nice brand new building and nice clean filtered air, and they polish their doorknobs so that you don't catch nothing, constantly. Disinfecting, because they're so fearful of those people. Can't get over that police officer, I left a message. If you're listening, honey, you need to be more honest about what you have, what you had, and what you're going to do with it. And manipulating it now just to scare the young, the youth, and have them believe that the herpy thing did it to you. Ooh, honey. I am so sorry that you feel like those people did this to you.
but that means you should not be in the position that you're in. No, sorry. God's punishing you. Isn't a pun a fun? Isn't pun fun? To pick on someone? The punish? The ish is the man. Yeah. The punish. Ish means Isha. Isha. Isa. Ish. The ish. Oh, well. Oh, it could be the ish that is the light. The ish is the serpent light. Yeah. Could be. That's the nakash. It's not the ish. The ish is the woman who received from the nakash. So the light is within that the man would hold. Now it's his divine spark, whatever he's doing with it. Yeah. Don't know what that was. Encephalitis? Meningitis? I don't know. They offered him radiation. He said no. So they offered him surgery. He says no. After the surgery, he says he doesn't want to go through it again. Yeah, I think that the light in the capacity of healing is what I require. Yeah. But of course, the chemo is where they kill you. So there's radiation treatments for tumor, for enlargement of tumor or something like that. But with me, it'll probably be chemo because chemo can kill you, and they'll just put me on a 12-week to 14-week regimen until I go, But I'll only take it as far as to where I start to feel good and get relief, and then I'm going to hold back. I'm going to let my body heal, change my, well, not so much change my diet. It's good. I'll try to curb the sugars, of course, because sugars feed cancers. And, of course, organs that have cancer will start utilizing the sugars. And the PET scan is the only way to see something like that, which is a fantastic thing. But you know that it must be expensive because nobody's ordering it unless you're at your extreme. But then it's only to target those, to see the target spots. Yeah, when the body can do some miraculous things. There are miracles. There's such a thing as a miracle, but you've got to assist You have to be a participant. Take part in it. With those people. So this is the kind of rant I'm offering that other man with the brain damage that is isolated, frustrated, alone. And you can see there's a lot of craziness in this world. And it may not all make sense because of the way I ramble. And I do apologize, but yeah, there might be something stimulating you might find. And please leave comment. I'm not going to judge. I'm going to try to remember who you are. And I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to try to draw you into anything other than thank you for listening. And I'm here. And if you want to speak, please speak. And if the bot tries to remove your message, well, I'm going to get it in my inbox. We could talk about it in a different way, if that's what it takes. Yeah, if that's what it takes. Now, I don't have a good memory for it. I should be writing down everybody's names that I ever meet. Could you imagine? Because I can't remember names. I'm bad. It took me, 10 years to get the names across the street, the neighbor across the street, to figure out the names. It's like, my brain wouldn't wrap around it. No, they could tell me, and I just go right out one ear and out the other. It doesn't mean that you're inconsequential. It just means that I can't store it. I don't store it that way. No, what would I do if I went crazy and had all those names in my head? Yeah. So today's a number 4 day, universally. It's a knock on the door. It's a knock on the head, isn't it? It's a knocking head. Knocking knockers. Yeah, maybe it is about knockers. If you're into knockers. I know the Italian properties, one-stop property tour, Nick, he loves knockers. Yeah, he can't stop mentioning them. Isn't that funny when our ears go itchy? Maybe someone will explain that to me. It's for those who can hear and those who can see. Yeah, it is. It's an invitation, isn't it? Rows of corn. mace. Yeah, it's a good foundation. Sustenance. It's important. We don't want to be those people homeless. No, I don't. But yet I'm not controlled by money or income or any of the like. And so the doctor can actually have me investigated. How do you live in the house? How is it that you have clothes? How do you have food on the table? And yet you're on Medicaid and you're coming to me, and now I can destroy you. Because I caught you. I caught you. You white privileged thief conquering to conquer. And yet I gave up money in 2008. And it was a choice because of what I was going through with the university and people. My landlord. God. Yeah. So, sorry. Sorry, it's truth. I can speak the truth. I'm not afraid. I used to be fearful of letting people know that I don't pay income tax. But 0 is 0 and I don't have any money, okay? So I don't have to be taxed for that bullshit. You don't have to be taxed for living in a box. You don't have to be taxed for being born. No, that's a construct that they create so that they can steal. They've been stealing for a long time, and as a result of agreeing to such a thing, through your W-4, at work, through your employer, who is strong-armed. Yeah, they're strong-armed. You think you can walk in and tell your accountant at work that I no longer want to pay taxes, so give me my W-4, I'm tearing it up? They're still going to file on you, and then they're going to have some sort of legal ramifications to go after you because you don't run from that obligation by word of the thief, by way of the thief, his rules, his laws. It's not even federal. No, it's a private agency. And they say, well, that goes into federal. Yeah, it does. They're siphoning it. They love it. It's a measurement. And yet, look at our armed forces of Euro-Africa have been using their budget to support the Ukraine. That's where it's all coming from. And they ran out of money. So now what about the Euro-Africa armed forces of the United States? What about their army? What about that, the funding for that army portion? Do you see what the wicked things have done? Mm-hmm. Those are your children we're talking about. That's who they're going to harm, your children. Not my children. Not my taxes. No, I'm not supporting abortion or war. I am not your hypocrite. No. I am an inheritor. That's right. That's right. So it's mine. I take it. Why? Because I accept. Gabriel asked me, do you accept? And granting me 3.5 years of normalcy. Yeah. Only to discover that I'm the son of perdition. Only to discover that you all took to Paul. That you didn't listen to the Lord. You never could hear his voice. Well, not all of you. But of course the religion, for they are many. The many did. Those people. Sure, those people. Oh, I've been talking over an hour. I better stop. Oh, chinga dinga. Okay. Take care, please. And those are confused by what I say, just take the portion that you feel connected to. And if not, then bless you. Be less of you. We're all cursed by it, you know. But blessings go into God. Okay. In consumption. Yeah, consumption. It has to do with the body. So, have a great number 4 day. Yeah. Bye. Bye.